Have you ever caught your reflection and maybe thought, wow, when did I start looking quite so, well, tired?
Uh-huh.
Or maybe, that little creak when you get out of a chair feels a bit louder these days.
Yeah, it happens. It's easy to just think, well, that's aging. Like it's this inevitable decline.
Right, just something you have to accept. But what if?
Hmm.
What if you could actually influence that journey in like meaningful ways?
Exactly. And look, we're not suggesting you can stop time or anything like that. That's not the point.
No, no.
But this deep dive is really exploring this compelling idea that we can actively shape how we experience aging.
Yeah, shaping the experience. I like that. It's not about chasing some, impossible idea of staying 20 forever.
Definitely not.
It's more about tapping into your potential for, well, more energy, maybe greater strength, and just a real sense of joy, no matter the number.
Right. Whether you're navigating your 60s, 70s, 82, feeling younger, feeling sharper, more alive, that seems possible.
And the material we've been looking at, it paints a pretty encouraging picture, doesn't it? And a realistic one.
It does. Very practical stuff. Lots of focus on simple habits, small shifts that, they really add up over time.
So our mission today really is to dive into these findings, pull out the key, actionable bits.
The things you can actually do.
Exactly, to help you feel more in control of your own aging experience, maybe make the whole idea feel a bit less daunting.
And more empowering, hopefully?
Yeah, empowering. Okay, so let's unpack this. Where do we start? Maybe with something foundational, like our own thoughts.
Yes, mindset. It's fascinating how deep the connection is between our beliefs about getting older and what actually happens in our bodies.
How so?
Well, the research we looked into, it really highlights the significant finding. People who see aging as a time for growth, for learning, maybe gaining wisdom, they don't just tend to live longer, but they're also more resilient. They bounce back faster from illness. They seem to move with more, vitality.
That's incredible. So it's not just in their heads.
No, it manifests physically.
Right.
And it gets even more interesting when you look at language.
Language, you mean like the words we use?
Exactly. Those little throwaway comments, I'm too old for that. Or my memory's shot, even said jokingly.
Yeah.
Our brains kind of log those statements. And over time, well, they can become self-fulfilling.
Wow. Okay, so how do we fight that? How do we change that internal script?
Well, the sources suggest a really practical first step. Just start noticing. Become aware of the words you use day to day.
Okay.
So instead of, I can't do that anymore, I'm not as young as I was, maybe try reframing it. Something like, I'm exploring different ways to approach this, or I'm learning how to build my strengths for this now.
Or like instead of I'm so forgetful.
Yeah, maybe shift to, I'm actively working my brain, or I'm finding good strategies to support my memory. It sounds small, doesn't it?
It does, but I can see how it might reprogram things. Sort of. It's like these tiny linguistic shifts start to rewire core beliefs. And the body often listens to the mind, as the material points out.
Okay, interesting. Mindset first. Now let's pivot to something seemingly very basic, but maybe with huge power. Breath.
Ah, yes, breathing. It's amazing, really. Taking conscious, deep breaths can actively reverse some of the stress patterns in the body.
Stress patterns that contribute to aging.
Absolutely. We tend to think of stress as just, mental or emotional. But the research is clear. Chronic stress is a physical thing. It speeds up wear and tear on our systems.
Right. So what can you do? What's a practical takeaway?
Our sources offer something incredibly simple, almost like hitting a daily reset button.
Okay, I'm listening.
First thing in the morning, before you even get out of bed maybe, just place a hand on your belly and take 5 slow, really deep breaths. In through the nose, feel your belly rise.
Okay.
And then a long, slow exhale out through the mouth. Let your shoulders drop. Just notice that feeling of the body calming down.
5 breaths. That's it. That's a great start. What you're doing in those moments is sending a direct signal to your nervous system. It's saying, it's okay, we're safe, we can relax.
Ah, so it counters that fight or flight thing.
Exactly. Doing it consistently each morning is like telling yourselves, all right, no emergency here, focus on repair, focus on rejuvenation. It sets a different tone for the day.
I like that, a different tone. Okay, mindset, breath. Let's talk about the physical body. Movement, always important, right?
Undeniably, at any age, really. It's one
Yeah.
of the most potent tools we have to feel younger, more energetic.
But let's be clear, we're not necessarily talking about like training for a marathon or intense CrossFit here, are we?
No, definitely not the focus here. It's more about simple, enjoyable movements, things that help maintain muscle, keep joints flexible.
Okay.
And one type of movement highlighted in the material is resistance training.
Resistance training, so like weights.
It could be light dumbbells, yeah, or resistance bands. Even just using your own body weight counts. Things like gentle squats or maybe push-ups against a wall.
Why is that specific type so important, especially as we get older?
Well, the thing is, after around age 60, there's a natural tendency to lose muscle mass. It's called sarcopenia.
Right.
And that loss isn't just about, not being able to lift heavy things. It's directly linked to feeling tired, a slower metabolism, even that sort of brain fog people sometimes experience.
Okay. So it connects to energy and clarity too.
Absolutely. But the good news, the really encouraging part, is that actively working to keep that muscle or even build a little sends a powerful signal. It tells your body you're still vital, still capable.
And you don't need to become a bodybuilder.
Not at all. The sources are clear. Even just 10, 15 minutes, maybe a few times a week, that can make a real difference.
So how can people sneak this in?
Think about little things, like standing on your tiptoes while brushing your teeth. Works the calves.
Okay.
Or doing a few bicep curls with soup cans while waiting for the kettle to boil.
Practical.
It is. The key takeaway here really is consistency over perfection. Just doing something regularly. Your body appreciates those consistent little efforts.
Consistency, not intensity. Got it. Okay, this flows nicely into another big one. Nutrition.
Yes. And the perspective here is interesting. Food isn't just calories for fuel.
Right. The sources say it's information.
Exactly. Information that tells our cells how to function, how to repair, and yes, how we age.
And one strategy that comes up a lot in this context is time-restricted eating or intermittent fasting.
But again, it's not about extreme dieting, not about deprivation.
Okay.
It's more about giving your digestive system and your whole body regular breaks, longer periods for that cellular repair work.
So what does a gentle version look like?
The sources often describe something like a 10-hour eating window. Pretty manageable for many people.
So like finish dinner by 6 p.m., don't eat again until 8 a.m. the next day.
Something like that, yeah. That gives you a solid 14-hour fasting period overnight. And many people, particularly in their later years, report really positive effects.
Like what?
Feeling lighter, maybe, more mental clarity, more stable energy throughout the day.
And what's happening biologically during that fasting time?
Well, your body gets a chance to focus on other things besides digestion, like autophagy, that's basically cellular cleanup, getting rid of damaged cells. It can also help regulate hormones, maybe even improve brain function over time.
Okay. But important caveat here, right?
Oh, absolutely. The sources always advise, talk to your doctor before making big dietary changes, especially if you have underlying health conditions or you're on medication.
Definitely. But maybe even just cutting out late-night snacking could be a good first step for some people.
That alone could make a noticeable difference for many, yes. It aligns with the principle.
It really feels like all these things are connected, doesn't it? Mindset, breath, movement, food.
They absolutely are. It's not about finding one magic bullet. It's about these interwoven daily practices, done with intention, done consistently. They build that foundation for feeling younger, stronger, more joyful.
Yeah.
A foundation. I like that. Okay, speaking of joy, let's talk about something maybe less obvious in the context of physical aging. Connection. Human connection.
Oh, it's huge. Vital at every stage, of course. But its importance really seems to amplify as we get older.
How so? Is there data on this?
There is. The material we reviewed mentioned a pretty startling statistic. For people over 60, loneliness. It carries health risks comparable to, or even worse than, smoking or obesity.
Wow. That high. Comparable to smoking.
That's what the research suggests. So it's not just about having people around. It's about feeling truly connected, seen, heard, valued.
A deeper sense of belonging.
Exactly.
Right.
Whether it's with a partner, family, friends, neighbors, maybe a community group, those meaningful bonds, they contribute to a sharper brain, a stronger immune system, just better overall well-being.
And if someone feels like they don't have enough of that connection right now.
The message from the sources is really encouraging. It's never too late to cultivate it.
So what are some ways? Think about joining a local club, book club, gardening group, whatever interests you. Volunteering is a fantastic way. Or just making an effort to call an old friend you haven't spoken to in a while.
Even small interactions count.
Absolutely. A friendly chat with a cashier, a shared laugh with someone in line. These little moments reinforce that we're part of something. They matter.
Connection is key. Okay, let's shift to the brain itself. The fear of mental decline is a big one for many people as they age.
It is a common concern, definitely.
Huh.
But the news here is actually incredibly positive. Our brains are remarkably adaptable.
You mean they can still change and grow even later in life?
Precisely. The sources talk a lot about neuroplasticity. That's the brain's amazing ability to basically rewire itself, form new connections, even generate new brain cells throughout our entire lives.
So how do we tap into that? How do we encourage that neuroplasticity?
The key word is engagement. Not chronic stress, we talked about that earlier,
Right.
but positive challenge. Actively using your brain in new ways. Learning new things.
Like what kind of things?
It could be anything, really. Learning a new skill, like painting or playing an instrument, trying to pick up a few phrases in a different language, getting more comfortable with technology.
Does it have to be something big and complicated?
Not at all. It's not about becoming an expert overnight. It's about the process. Keeping your mind stimulated, curious, challenged in a good way.
Okay.
And another interesting tip from the material, consciously vary your routine sometimes.
How so?
Try simple things, like using your non-dominant hand to brush your teeth or stir your coffee.
Oh, that feels awkward just thinking about it.
Exactly. That awkwardness means your brain is working in a new way. Or take a different route on your walk. These small changes activate different neural pathways. Keep things fresh.
Like cross-training for the brain.
That's a great analogy. The sources use the image of a garden. The more you tend it, cultivate it with new experiences, the more vibrant it stays.
A brain garden, I like it. Okay, what about sleep? That often gets harder for people too,
Yeah.
right? Feels like a luxury sometimes.
It can feel that way, and yes, sleep patterns often do shift. But the sources really hammer this home. Quality sleep is not a luxury. It's fundamental. It's an incredibly powerful, though often overlooked, part of influencing aging well.
Why is it so crucial? What's happening when we sleep?
A lot. During those deep sleep cycles, your body is busy repairing tissues, balancing critical hormones, and maybe most importantly, clearing out metabolic waste products from the brain stuff that can build up and contribute to cognitive issues.
Ah, brain cleaning.
Essentially, yes. And the flip side, as the sources point out, is that not getting enough quality sleep, well, that's linked to increased inflammation, that frustrating memory fog, mood swings.
Okay, so we need it. What are some practical tips for getting better sleep?
Consistency is king.
Yeah.
Try to stick to a regular bedtime and wake up time, even on weekends. That helps regulate your body's internal clock, the circadian rhythm,
Right.
and create a wind-down routine. Dim the lights an hour or so before bed. Definitely turn off bright screens, phones, tablets, TVs.
Blue light thing.
Exactly. It messes with melatonin production, the sleep hormone. Instead, try reading a real book. Some gentle stretching, maybe listening to calming music.
And what if you're lying there and your mind is just racing?
The sources mention a specific breathing technique that can be really helpful. The 4-7-8 breath.
4-7-8. How does that work?
Simple. You breathe in quietly through your nose for a count of 4.
Okay.
Hold your breath gently for a count of 7.
7.
And then exhale slowly and completely through your mouth, making a soft whoosh sound for a count of 8.
4-7-8.
Repeat that cycle maybe 3 or 4 times. It's surprisingly effective at slowing the heart rate and calming the nervous system. Signals it's time for rest.
Worth a try. Okay, this next one feels different. Self-perception?
Yeah.
How we see ourselves aging.
Yes, and the sources really challenge that common societal view, don't they? The idea that aging is something to hide, to fight, to fix.
Totally. Like wrinkles are bad, gray hair needs covering.
Right. But there's a real beauty, isn't there, in a face that shows a life lived. The laugh lines, the worry lines, the silver threads. They tell a story.
A story of resilience, of experience.
Exactly. And the sources encourage this shift. Start seeing your body not as a project to be constantly improved, but as an ally, a partner.
An ally. I like that.
Listen to its signals. Respect its needs. Appreciate everything it's carried you through. It's a kind of deep self-compassion, really. Instead of battling aging, maybe embracing it.
And what happens when you make that shift?
The sources suggest a real sense of ease can come from that, maybe even liberation. When you focus less on what you think you're losing,
Yeah.
you free yourself up to appreciate everything you still have, your insight, your strength, your humor, and just the precious gift of time itself.
Time. We often feel like it's running out.
But the sources beautifully remind us. There's often much more time ahead than we think. It's genuinely never too late to explore something new, revisit an old passion, or just greet the day with renewed energy. It starts with being kind to yourself.
Kindness, that seems to be a running theme.
It really is. Your body, your mind, they respond to that consistent loving care.
Okay, and that brings us back, in a way, to movement again. But maybe a gentler take.
Yes, the sources revisit movement, emphasizing consistency and enjoyment, keeping that connection with our physical selves.
Think about how fluidly kids move, right? And sometimes we get stiffer as we age.
We can, yes. So the encouragement is to reconnect with that joy of movement. Not necessarily hardcore workouts, but things like gentle stretches in the morning, a nice walk outside.
Dancing.
Absolutely. Dancing in the kitchen, or maybe trying Tai Chi or gentle yoga. Water aerobics is great too, very low impact.
The key is finding something you like.
And honoring where your body is now, not pushing too hard, just enjoying the feeling of moving. And don't forget the mood boosts.
Ah, yes, the endorphins.
Endorphins, serotonin.
Yeah.
Exercise is a natural mood lifter. It just makes you feel better.
Okay, and let's also revisit food, but maybe from that nourishment angle again?
Yes, nourishment over dieting, especially later in life. That's a strong theme.
So what kind of foods fit that nourishing description?
Think colorful, vibrant, whole foods, lots of fresh vegetables, fruits packed with antioxidants, leafy greens, nuts and seeds for healthy fats, clean proteins, and water. Don't forget water.
Hydration is key.
Crucial. And again, it's about small, sustainable changes. Maybe just adding a handful of berries to your breakfast.
Or choosing whole grain bread instead of white.
Exactly. Or making a conscious effort to drink one more glass of water each day. Simple things add up.
Okay.
Even using herbal teas or adding cucumber or lemon to water can make hydration more appealing.
And what about the stuff to maybe reduce?
The sources definitely point to the downsides of too much sugar and heavily processed foods. They can really drive inflammation, mess with hormones, zap your energy.
So swapping those out gradually for more whole foods.
Is likely to lead to positive changes. Better skin, maybe better mood, clearer thinking. It's all connected
It really is. Okay, we keep coming back to mindset, don't we?
because it's foundational. The sources consistently emphasize how much our beliefs about aging shape the actual experience.
It's inspiring when you read the examples they give of older people starting new businesses, learning new skills, traveling.
Right. They're not trying to be young again. They're fully living now, rediscovering vitality in the present moment.
So how can we cultivate that?
The sources suggest a simple daily practice. Ask yourself, what do I get to enjoy today? Or what opportunities are there for engagement?
Focusing on the positive, appreciating small things.
The warmth of the sun, a good conversation, a tasty meal. It sounds cliche maybe, but cultivating that appreciation makes life feel richer, no matter the year on the calendar.
And there's science behind this too, right? Positive attitudes linked to living longer.
Yes, quite compelling research. It seems our mindset isn't just passive. It actively influences our choices, our physiology, our well-being, if you believe life still holds beauty and opportunity.
You're more likely to engage with it fully.
Exactly. You prioritize self-care, you stay connected, you try new things.
Okay, let's deepen the idea of connection now and link it to purpose.
Purpose. This is so important. And the sources clarify it doesn't have to be some grand, world-changing thing.
No.
No. It's more about your personal why, your reason for getting out of bed in the morning. It can be small, private, but deeply meaningful to you.
Why is having that sense of purpose so beneficial?
It gives life direction, intention, and studies link it to, again, sharper thinking, a more resilient body, even a longer life. People with purpose just seem to shine differently, move differently.
What are some examples of purpose later in life?
Could be anything. Tending a garden, sharing your skills or wisdom, caring for grandchildren or a pet, pursuing a hobby you've always loved, mentoring someone.
Honestly, it's very personal.
Very personal. What matters is that it feels authentic to you. And when that purpose connects with meaningful relationships, that combination is incredibly powerful for well-being.
Purpose and connection. Got it. What about staying curious?
Oh, absolutely essential. Curiosity is presented in the sources as, like, the antidote to stagnation, a key to staying young at heart and mind.
How do we keep that curiosity alive?
So many ways. Read widely, watch documentaries, talk to younger people, learn from their perspectives, take a class, online or in person, pick up that hobby you thought about. Practice mindfulness, just paying attention to the world around you with fresh eyes.
It's about being open, engaged.
Exactly. Not necessarily needing to master everything, just staying open and interested.
Okay, one final big theme. Presence. Being in the moment.
Yes, so crucial. Not getting stuck ruminating on the past or constantly worrying about the future. but really being here, now.
How does that help with aging well?
Well, practices that cultivate presence like meditation, the deep breathing we discussed, prayer if that's meaningful for you, even journaling, they are fantastic tools for releasing stress.
And we know chronic stress is physically damaging.
Right, it takes a toll. So even just 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes of stillness, focusing on your breath, that can start to shift things, initiate healing.
5 minutes. Seems doable.
It really is.
So as we kind of wrap this up, the big message seems to be influencing aging isn't about fighting it or reversing it in some magical way.
No, it's more about becoming the fullest, most vibrant version of yourself at this stage, carrying all your experiences, all your wisdom.
Reframing it as an ongoing journey.
A journey of consistent, compassionate self-care. The sources offer such a reassuring message, really. You are alive now. You have this inherent radiance. Your best experiences might still be ahead.
That's a powerful thought. Okay, so let's quickly recap the main threads we pulled out today.
All right. We talked about the power of mindset, how your beliefs shape reality.
The simple power of conscious breathing to calm the nervous system.
The importance of gentle, consistent, enjoyable movement, especially resistance training.
Nourishing your body with real food, seeing it as information, maybe exploring time-restricted eating gently.
The absolute vitality of human connection, fighting loneliness.
Keeping the brain sharp and engaged through curiosity, learning, neuroplasticity.
Prioritizing quality sleep for repair and restoration.
Cultivating self-acceptance, seeing your body as an ally.
Finding personal purpose, your why.
Staying curious and open to the world.
And the grounding power of presence, managing stress through mindfulness. It's all interwoven.
It really is. Okay, so maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to ponder.
Yeah.
Which of these small daily choices we talked about today could you start incorporating, maybe even tomorrow, to cultivate a more vibrant, more joyful experience of aging for yourself?
Just pick one small thing, perhaps.
Exactly. We really encourage you to reflect on what resonated. Maybe talk about these ideas with someone. Think about what living well or getting better truly means for you right now.
Because your journey is unique. It's ongoing.
Absolutely. Embrace it fully, every step.